disability inclusion assistive tech user and consultant, a lecturer at Kenya Institute of Special Education, KISE, and coordinator educational rehab for the newly impaired. Ladies and gentlemen, Nyange Mwasia as he makes his way onto the stage. A round of applause for him. Thank you very, very much. So we're going to give you about 10 minutes and we're going to have that communicated to you as we start with our timer. As I said, mumechoma. Sasa mnaona mnafanya nipe mtu 10 minutes. Mnaona venye mnanifanyia? Akisi fair. Akisi fair. Mm. Akisi sorry. Imeniuma. So 10 minutes, Marcia, you're good to go.
Wow, good afternoon. Hey, you have to be louder because I need to see you. Good afternoon. Oh, yeah, that's better. That's better. Now, I did not know the layout of this space, so I'm trying to adapt it to fit my preference. Came here with this stand, but I'm noticing I may not need to use it. Just give me a second. Okay. Um, I had something that I could project, but I think I should just go without, so that then we listen to each other. In any case, most of the people in the room may be those who learn through listening as compared to seeing, isn't it? Can I, so that we also save on time? All right. Thank you very much. So, yeah. So, let me just be quick. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah. So on, yes, yes. Oh, I'll not need to project. It's okay. Thank you. So, like I'm saying, I'll not project. Just allow me do without projection. If you want, I can share just a few of the slides so that we can all access them. Good afternoon again. Um, I don't know. After especially having listened to um, those youngsters with dyslexia or who are dyslexic, I really don't know how to best explain how I feel. I first of all feel very happy seeing some of those who have not any impairment around the room. So if you do not have any impairment and you're in the room, please clap for yourself once. Okay, once. Thank you. It gives me a great honor to stand in front of you to um, just to talk about uh, the innovative, inclusive accessibility tools for inclusive learning. Because one, I'm a teacher, but of most importance is that I teach to myself more than I teach to others. Yeah. Do you teach yourself? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so, because we already understood what dyslexia is, I will not repeat. But why should accessibility matter when you're talking about dyslexia, for example? It matters because, like it was already shared, this I can repeat, that quite a number of people are dyslexic. In fact, studies have it that 1 in 10 are dyslexic. They may not know, they may not have been confirmed, but they are. Just look around. Just look around. How many are there? 10 people around you. Mhm. So probably one of you among those 10, and it could also be you, is dyslexic. Only that they are not confirmed or that you've not interacted enough for you to know that they are. Okay. Then um, most of the times these people are never understood, just like we've already mentioned again and again and again. They are never understood. And so it becomes difficult, especially in Africa, because this is where we have higher cases of those that are not diagnosed. And especially now that we already have our cultural practices, like the way one of the parents mentioned, that babake alihavku kick the, did you hear what she said? Kick out, kick what? Kick stupidity out of her. That's what most, if not all, believed before we learned and go to the kind of area. But so these learners without support, they get to struggle a lot, and especially academically and emotionally. Now, because we've been here for 1.5 days, I'd want someone who is not dyslexic, not any of the youngsters that really express themselves very well. By the way, I'm really proud of them. Please help me appreciate them. You know, kujikubali ni one thing na kusimama mbele ya watu kuwaambia umejikubali is another. Sawa sawa. So these people, anyone else apart from them, to help me understand how would these people be affected emotionally. We may be speaking, and sometimes when we don't contextualize some of these things, it remains almost like the Constitution, just clean on paper. Someone saidia huyo shosho anatuwatch kwa online kuweza kuelewa what how are they affected emotionally. Remaining. Oh, oh,
I can get you the feedback.
oh, okay.
Yes, I will speak now. Where was that time?
Uh, is it yet afternoon? Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah, my name is George Njoroge Jenga. I will answer that because I am dyslexic and I grew up as one without knowing, though it became to be very. So I'll talk on how perhaps you feel emotionally not fitting in like the others. And at times you may wonder, why am I not performing academically like so and so? And, before you get to understand yourself, it can really be emotionally tormenting. And also, uh, in terms of, how do I put it? The self-esteem can really go down if one is not very careful and surrounded by people who really care. Yeah.
Okay. I had an honor to interact with George Njoroge during tea time, and it's a great honor to have him around when he's dyslexic, and even with a daughter, 17 years plus, who was not able to make this place. Please help me appreciate him. Thank you for making it here. Now, I want us, you see, now that we already understand what dyslexia is, when you hold this piece of paper and it is written some mathematical signs, and you're asked to read in front of a class. Mwalimu amekusimamisha amekwambia, now read out. Now it is time for Nyange to read out for us. When I hold, I start reading 93. And the class is like, see. And you know the children, the way the children behave. Wanaanza kucheka, sawa? And of course, maybe that teacher maybe also joins them too. Like, wewe unaona 93 wapi? Eh? And so when when Nyange concentrates again, now he starts seeing 63. But before he pronounces 63, he remembers the other peers laughed. Are we together? So he will be like 63, just to give time for the class to confirm whether he is about to pronounce is the correct thing. Are we together? I mean, I guess that is the simplest way to just start explaining about how emotionally they would be affected. With time, with time, if this is repeated, then they don't want to participate in any class work that relates to reading because they will always be ashamed. They will always be disturbed. They will always read something that is wrong according to the other learners. But it is worse with the fact that they tend to, when they are reading and then they turn a little, now they look at it again, the letters have changed. They even struggle the most. So they are struggling with themselves, alafu waongeze kicheko kidogo, now it makes it even worse. Some even end up developing stuttering, or like stammering, because they are not sure of themselves. And if you're not sure of what you're saying, you may not be sure of any other thing. And that begins the journey of emotional effect. Are we together? Now, that is why accessibility solutions come to solve this. We learn more by listening or by speaking than the items writing. Some of the tools that are designed are known to us. But because there are several that do not know them, you'll allow me just a short while to demonstrate a few of them for our understanding. Some of them are text to speech. Text to speech simply meaning that you give it text, it gives you feedback in voice. So that means that you no longer have to struggle with whether the letter is facing right, left, up, or down. You just listen. And with that, they'll be able to be confident because they already had it is letter P, not B. Okay? Text to speech. An example is one I'm using by the way. Let me just remove this.
Categories include text to speech, TTS, speech to text, dictation.
Can you hear it? Yes. It is reading what I've written in text, but now using voice. So there are so many of them. So many of them. Maybe that which may relate to you very fast is when interacting with what now? When you're touching your phone on the dictionary, you have the option to tap it for it to speak out what it is written, right? You remember that? That's a text to speech already. But there are several that would be even more helpful to learners with dyslexia and even those with visual impairment at large. For example, we have Google Text to Speech. We have, oh, sorry, let me connect back my earphone. Examples of this would be like a Google Text to Speech engine, others like a natural reader, read write, and such. And they would help you to read digital text aloud. When you get to any search engine, either Google, Chrome, or Edge, or any other, there's an option to click for it to speak what is on that site. That's already a text to speech. If that option is not there, then someone who is dyslexic happens to have a disability. Now that's the time they'll end up having. They only have impairment, but when that option is not there, they are disabled. We're together. And I hope we are actually in the same page when it comes to what is disability, what is impairment. Just- Are we? Are we? Yes. Oh, no. Okay. When you forget your bunch of keys here, you get to your house, you'll be disabled from accessing it. All right? Your son, your daughter, your husband tells you, oh, don't you worry, I have my bunch. So now you are enabled to accessing it. That is disability. So disability is anything that is environmental, either physical environment or emotional environment. But impairment is that what is confirmed by a doctor, an abnormality that is confirmed by a doctor. For example, with me, I can't perceive light. That's an abnormality. People ought to be able to perceive light. So if I'm not able to perceive according to a doctor, then that's an impairment. I was actually challenging UNICEF and UNESCO that we may need to change. It's so unfortunate that already the word disability has already gotten into the books, into lots of publication, but it does not necessarily reflect what we exactly mean. Disability is all about environment, but what I'm having is only an impairment. Okay, so my 10 minutes. Okay, the other example of assistive technology is speech to text. Now, the first that I mentioned was then now the second I'm talking about speech to text. What's the difference? Now, here is one that allows me to speak and then it starts writing. Maybe for those who already have laptops and you're on Microsoft Word waiting to type maybe a point that you feel it's helpful to you, and just press Windows plus H. Have you done that? Anyone holding a laptop? H on any editable field, say in Microsoft Word. Done? Now I'm speaking, and whatever it can hear, it will definitely write without you needing to touch a key. And with that, it becomes possible for any person with visual impairment or who is dyslexic to be able to follow lectures, to be able to, record and type notes without needing to think which letter looks right, which one looks left, or even the one that looks up or down. It types. Maybe she can confirm. It is typing. So next time you are in a place you feel someone is speaking very fast, you can't write as fast as that, just press Windows plus H and there you go. Another example of text to speech that we are already used to. You get on your phone and you see your keyboard and hapo juu ya letter P, just above letter P, it tells you voice typing. And you wonder, sasa kaka speaker, nika kitu gani? For text to speech. I mean, speech to text. You tap that speech and you tell it, maybe you're on message and you want to write your message to your son. And you just say, hi, son, I want to remind you that I'll be coming to visit you on Saturday. Then it writes exactly what you've said. That is text to speech. To you, it may not be of very importance because you are already able to see and type those letters comfortably. But those who are dyslexic, that becomes even those with dysgraphia, that becomes a great transformation. Are we together? There are many, but because I'm having short time, let me not mention all of them. Accessible ebooks and audiobooks. When you happen to have, or should I demonstrate one? Let me demonstrate one kindly. When I received okay, I was in the committee arranging this, and when I received the program that we finally edited, I wanted to know what does it exactly say. So I used a text as an app that helps me read out any printed text. So it's called Hibo. You can actually download it from Play Store.
Flash app. At voice aloud reader. One item active. At voice aloud reader. Two items active. Voice flash app. Advanced phone call.
KIBO.
Advanced phone. Flash app. At voice aloud reader. Two items active in background.
At
Home. Button. Window navigation bar. WhatsApp. Window recent apps. Phone.
So there are
WhatsApp.
several.
Voicemail reader.
So I can use either at voice or keyboard. Let me just use this kidogo. You hear how it says.
Introduction to Mag. Button. With introduction to person. Introduction to person. Place next. Button. Play slash pause. Button.
What are some of your expectations in this course, Kai Certificate in Braille Proficiency? Did you know? The 26th of February 2021, WHO Fact Sheet on Blindness and Visual Impairment providing key. Globally, at least 2.2 billion people have a near or distance vision impairment. In at least 1 billion, or almost half, of these cases, vision impairment could have been prevented or has yet to be addressed.
So this is a document that is in print, but once I share it through that app, then it is able to read out everything for me. And to a person who is dyslexic, that becomes a total transformation. Are we together? And someone asked, one of the, I don't know whether it was a parent, I never captured the name, forgive me, but they asked, what can we do? What is the immediate solution that can we have so that then we support those children right from here? Like, what is this that I can do as I leave this conference or this room today? One of the things you can do, first of all, was well answered. Learn. Let's learn. Let's learn. Secondly, let's try. After we learn, we try. Download these apps, for example. You can write 3 of them and then you will try them later when at home. One is called Keyboard AIBO. The other one is called at voice, at sign. That at sign like the at gmail.com. The at sign, then voice, at voice reader. The third one that you can have is called Be My Eyes. And fourth, for now, would be Seeing AI. Seeing, kuona, Seeing, Seeing AI. Now, let me demonstrate one. Because of time, I'll not be able to demonstrate all. So that then you'll be able to know why you should have it on your phone too. Help me hold this.
$13.37. A choice. Device unlocked.
So I'm launching the app Seeing AI.
Seeing AI. Page. Intelligent camera app. Hold up your phone. Skip. Button. Text. Button. Skip.
So I've,
Microsoft. Microsoft service agreement. And acknowledge that. Microsoft. Full stop. Update. Accept terms of use. Get started. Button.
so when I'm given this brochure,
Seeing AI. Only this time. I'm using the app. Button. Read.
I just point my phone to the camera, my camera to the document, and it starts vomiting words.
Web builder. This tab assists with reading. Hold the camera. When reading out loud. Tap the take picture. After the text has been recognized. In addition to having the text read back. Button. After the text has been recognized. In the new talkback commands. Annotate. Documented. No text default. Read. Close. Button. See. Withheld. Button. Document section off.
Yes.
Take picture. Button. Recognize identity. Button. Select it. Read. Tab. Describe. Tab. More. Chat.
So I'm on, it has several channels. I'm on read, and then I choose, it recognizes English, unfortunately.
More. Open tab action.
So
Menu. Close. History. Help. Feedback. Settings. Snow. About.
okay. Let me just use this open Seeing AI.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
Okay.
Swipe up to the block. Swipe up to the 0, 4, 5, 6, 9, 8, 7. WhatsApp. More. Button.
Open Seeing AI.
Whats-
So when I point this document with my camera to the document, then it just starts reading.
Okay. Working. Quality. No. January. May. September. Our programs. Velocity program. Email. Button. Withheld.
So I point and it starts reading.
No messages. University. Birthday point. Earth quality. Collected. January. May. September. West program. Program. Rail education.
So basically, it just helps me know that this is a brochure by a university that is giving me different options that it has for me to do, and that I can have that read. You know, when depending on how well you position the camera, then it becomes possible for you to read more accurate. And oh, all right. So, lastly, I'll mention about AI powered tools. So, just before I do, this app allows me to do so many things apart from just reading text, including even analyzing something that, in case I've not understood, then it would be able to help analyze fully. And with persons with dyslexia, would want when you're reading any document that it would be highlighted, the piece where the cursor is, to have that specific area highlighted so that it becomes easier for them to read through. So these apps that I just recommended that you download, you'd be able to try them at home and see how best they would work. It would ask you definitely for a few options to allow this and that. Kindly just allow so that it works best. Um, um, Bookshare is an accessible library that you may be able to download some of the audio books that may be accessible to persons who are dyslexic. So consider registering yourself with Bookshare online library that allows you to download the different books of different formats that would be accessible to persons with disabilities and especially dyslexia. Apps like Tech Freedom allow you to convert any text to audio book because we've just agreed that persons who are dyslexic get to learn faster, especially when they are listening as compared to reading. I want to just finish by mentioning that some of these tools tend to be very costly. For example, this pen. I had that pen. Don't know whether is it here? Or I left it there. Okay. There's much, but there's a reading pen that would be able to help you to read. Oh, yeah, it's actually here. Just to show you, I'm not demonstrating. Here, it helps you to read printed text. So you place it on a document, say, for example, here, and then it helps you just keep reading and reading and reading. You have others like this. This is a camera that is in this bag. I just couldn't have enough time to demonstrate how it works, but you mount it. Let me just you mount it and it allows you the chance to plug to your computer, and every book can now be translated to soft. You mount it like this and plug it to your computer, place a book under it, and then it becomes possible for you to have that whatever that is in print brought to the laptop. And with that text, you can edit, you can copy, you can share, you can do whatever you want with it. That becomes also another form to help those who are dyslexic a chance to modify the text to the way they prefer. You know, we said if I can't learn your way, then uh, if I can't learn the way you teach me the way I learn, isn't it? So this helps me to convert the text into a format that I can access and becomes easier for me. Now, some of these things, even including this kind of a device, may be costly. Yes, costly. Something that is around 500, okay, say 5,000 US dollars then it becomes quite costly. But some of these apps are really cheap and others are open source. So that's why I would recommend highly that in Africa we embrace more of these application-based programs to sort the challenges that we are having. For the teachers, I mean, for the parents who are online and you may be having a child of this kind that we're talking about, please, as you remember to install other games in the phone when, I understand people are going digital, remember to install some of the apps that would also be helpful for your learner to be able to read their way. Because if you are not doing that, then you are disadvantaging them. Finally, I would wish to reiterate that technology really makes things easier to everyone, but it makes things possible to persons with disabilities, including dyslexia. Thank you.
A round of applause for Mr. Mwasia. He's done quite an exceptional job, don't you think so? You think so? Oh, great. Again, a round of applause for him. And now, allow me to acknowledge the presence of, he said he does not want to be, currently he's just apparent present, yes? Yeah. We want to welcome the present, the parents who joined us. Honorable Senator, Doctor, and Mrs. Karibuni sana, Madam Nelias, Karibuni. Thank you very much for joining us. Tunashukuru sana. Coming up, we have a keynote speaker. Hii nayo nitakukimbiza. Uzuri ni rafiki yangu. Tutapatana na hapa nyuma ya tent. Ah, very nice. She's even put her nini on her timer on check. So coming up, we have Beatrice Jane. She is the executive director of Zana Africa, and she's going to be talking about building a dyslexia-friendly ecosystem, the power of collaborative partnerships for all to thrive. A round of applause as she makes her way. Now, Beatrice Jane is the executive director at Zana Africa Programs. She leverages her extensive nonprofit management experience to empower women and adolescents through rights-based health education, services, and life skills. She is a visionary perennial leadership fellow with over 19 years of experience in strategic operations and leadership, specializing in the management of complex grants. She has successfully expanded evidence-based programs to reach more than 500,000 children across Kenya, driving transformative initiatives that uplift children, youth, parents, and caregivers in vulnerable communities. Her expertise spans child protection, safeguarding, health, education, livelihoods, and resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, Beatrice Jane.
Thank you very much, MC. Sometimes your bio is read and you're like, is that me? But at least it's not like some other platforms where we are introduced and it goes like the powerful speaking, the miracle worker. Thank you very much. Our chief guest and Madam Nelias, fellow advocates, good afternoon. First, I want to convey our sincere regrets from our founder, Madam Megan Mukuria, who was to speak earlier on about safeguarding, but got a family emergency. But Esther Megan passes her gratitude and acknowledges our ongoing collaboration on child protection and safeguarding. I will then try as much as possible within the few minutes that have been accorded as we go behind the tent later to fit into her big shoes while trying to highlight some of the safeguarding opportunities she would have wanted to mention even as I speak about building a dyslexia-friendly ecosystem, the power of collaborative partnerships for all to thrive. Now, before I came here yesterday, I had a draft presentation that I discarded because this has been a learning forum for me, a lot of unlearning, and I want to start by conveying my thank you to my sister Esther. I met Esther about a year and a half ago when we were conducting a research on online child sexual exploitation and abuse for children with intellectual disability. And ladies and gentlemen, after being in international development on child protection and safeguarding, I felt like I knew nothing. And so I quickly enrolled in her class. So I'm her student, learning every day about how to better safeguard our children. So I work for Zana Africa, and it is an organization for child protection. It was formed about over 18 years ago, and it was born to help girls and women to actualize their full rights, health, safety, and access life skills to achieve their full potential. But over time, we have been able to grow to a fully fledged program that supports adolescents, both girls and boys, to navigate puberty. And for girls, we do so through our pads. It's called the Near Pads. Probably you've seen it in the market. And what we do is that we use the pads to be able to start having the taboo topics. And at this point, I mostly ask my audience, how many among us had somebody to explain to them about what to expect during adolescence? Shoot your hands up at heart, 2 out of the number in the hall. And if you had somebody to really explain to you all the body changes that you expected and explore healthy relationships and mark your way out of all the societal expectations, then shoot your hand up again. Perfect. Still 2 out of the entire population. So we are grateful to the government because through Ministry of Education, we are currently working with the KICD to develop content to support teachers to mainstream pertinent and contemporary issues in the classroom. Now, a CBE curriculum has a lot of content on pertinent and contemporary issues, but because this content is not examinable, most than not, that is not actually taught in classrooms. And these are all the other aspects apart from mathematics, biology that affect a child's well-being as they continue to explore learning. And listening to the conversations that were happening yesterday, I am happy to share that this content that we are working to develop with KICD is actually being delivered to teachers through an app we call Zeraki. And it is done through a self-paced module. So as our colleague from Tanzania explained how they are reaching out to teachers, I was actually imagining that there is an opportunity to anchor more information about dyslexia that parents and teachers can access even without facilitation or a workshop. And so we would like to deepen our role in the ecosystem for dyslexia so that as we think about life skills, it is all inclusive. And our other intervention is through Near Health Link. And we have a toll-free number and a chat bot where the youths can engage and access information about health and life skills. Most of our adolescents are shy to ask some questions, especially to us millennials who never got the opportunity to have one-on-one conversations about the body changes, the life skills. And so we provide that chatbot for an introvert youth to be able to interact with it. So it is AI facilitated, but all the information has been vetted by gynecologists in the country. So whatever questions they shoot, they get an answer, but it is vetted and contextualized in Kenya. They can also use the toll-free number. I can share it later. And the toll-free number allows them to have a conversation with the online operator who is able to link them to other services. Now, we realized in Kenya, Mheshimiwa, that there are so many toll-free numbers. GBV call. GBV we call. Which number? 1195. Childline we call 116. I can only hear here. Police we call. DCI we call. This year, there's a toll-free number. Yeah, so what we do for the Near Health Link is that we don't expect our teenagers to cram all those numbers that are in the ecosystem. We line them up so when a teen calls and they have a specific question, we direct them to that number. We direct them to that service provider who is within the ecosystem. So we work very closely with the government to be able to vet organizations, government departments who are providing services that offer safety to children. So that is one platform where I think and I feel that children with dyslexia would benefit a lot by calling through and being connected through the toll-free number. We have a learner-centered school called Jasiri Mugumo, and the school supports children on their unique learning journeys. And as we speak about vernacular learning, from yesterday's conversation, we are still wondering how can we have a curriculum, strength-based curriculum, and still evaluate learner outcomes. And we are innovating an Afro-centric solution that challenges the norms. We are interested in best practices happening in Kenya and in the region that would help us calculate and enrich. Ladies and gentlemen, if I were to pick a plant to represent a child from my motherhood experience, then I would pick a house plant. And most of us would, or everyone seems to have one until society puts you on scale. And with all the beautiful diversities for our children and special gifting, keeping them alive, number one, is an exhausting job. Providing for them equal opportunities that will encourage specialized learning is another added task. And comes the society judgment. If your plant is too tall, bad mom. If your plant has flowered brightly, bad dad. Is your plant hyperactive, a lot of sugar? You didn't adhere to your nutrition facts. Cannot read well, a lot of TV, bad mom. Poor parenting. We get tagged all these names. And when I grew up, there was much less awareness, if any, in my community about dyslexia. And so as I look at our performance in my primary school, high school, I can bet that we still have a good population that haven't known anything or any information about dyslexia. And in our class, children would get blamed, would get tagged with names, and that's why nowadays we post as Mheshimiwa said, and we say, Mwalimu wangu hapa ni wapi? Because some of us were branded names because we could not perform in certain subjects, and we were told we would end up nowhere. It led to less interactions with children, and often we got withdrawn. Data shows that at least 10%, as from our previous presenter, in our population in Kenya has dyslexia. And as a community in Africa, all we need is to accept that we have a uniquely gifted population. Be educated about it, understand it, acknowledge that we cannot be able to change it, even with all the science that we have. But we need to learn that we need to find that niche in every individual and nurture it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. And dyslexia is a superpower. We can tell from our youthful speakers here that dyslexia is a superpower. So we have been gathered here for 2 days and beyond because we believe in the power of partnerships. We know that supporting individuals with dyslexia requires a collective effort from the threads of educators, caregivers, families, communities, and innovative technologies for a sustainable future. Our focus today and in this conference is on building that dyslexia-friendly ecosystem, one where a collaboration, according to your generation, is not just a buzzword, it's not a vibe, it's not a tick in the box, it's not a donor-appealing word, but it is a living, breathing reality that empowers every individual with dyslexia to thrive. It is a co-creation and it is meaningful engagement. Child safety is really a team sport, and safeguarding means do no harm. Whether it's through the assessments, whether it's through the resources, whether it's through the systems, and for us in international development, whether it's through the programs and all the fundraising mechanisms that we have branded, whether it's through conversations or even tech. Safeguarding means do no harm. So for the first time, we are led by state actors, including KISE, and we are engaging with credible organizations like Bloom, Dyslexia, and others because they believe in the potential for the dyslexic children. They genuinely want to support. And from all the conversations and presentations that we've had here today, and thank you so much for the parents that have found a safe space to take us through all the experiences, the lived experiences. We require resources like specialized training, assistive technologies, and tailored learning materials that can be accessed through these collaborative engagements to address the specific needs of people with dyslexia. And with shifting priorities in the funding world, we have to find our own local resources, our own local solutions, our own local opportunities. We have all it takes in Kenya, and we have all it takes in Africa. We know that it is only when we come together like this, around a table as equals, from diverse backgrounds, that we can truly create something special and enduring that none of us could have achieved, even if we conceptualized. We can collectively decide right here, right now, that we are seizing this moment. And thanks to the conveners, we have come together as a nation, as a continent, across sectors, across government ministries, non-government organizations, private sectors and partners, funders, to speak with one voice for our children to thrive. We can change the narrative. Look at your neighbor and say, we can change the narrative. You are a change maker. I am a change maker. Some of us do not believe that they are a change maker. I am a change maker. Say it like you believe it. I am a change maker. And we are a change maker. We are change makers. Watoto wetu hoye. Watoto wetu hoye. Kizazi chetu hoye. Kizazi cha leo hoye. Kizazi cha kesho hoye. Because ladies and gentlemen, that world is within reach. It's right here with us. And that is very much a world I want to make it happen and be part of. Thank you.
She's done such an exceptional job. A round of applause for her. Thank you so much. And you've kept time. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now, we've sat for about 30 minutes, yes? Are we feeling like we need to do Kiria? Yeah? Do we need to do Nini? Yeah? We do? We okay? Oh, we can continue. Ah, you see? It's just that they're here. Let me maintain. Just maintain shallops, guys. Let me maintain shallops. So we're going to head into our panel now. And as I said, this is a very, very heavy day. Very, very heavy. And not just because of the topics, but emotionally. We started in the morning. It was quite intense. We went with the families. We went with the parents, with the kids, the teachers. It can be overwhelming. And not just for one party, for the entire chain that is involved. Very, very overwhelming. So then mentally, where are these people? Where do they get help? Where do you have these conversations? Who do you talk to? And that is what we're going to talk about in the next panel. Ladies and gentlemen, this next panel is going to talk about mental and reproductive health support for neurodivergent individuals. And I think it's very, very timely. As I said, this is an entire session. It should ideally be almost a week, but we're going to try and put all these things together so that we're able to come out here wholesomely, knowing bits and pieces of everything, but then we take it and make it our business to research more, read more, contact the people who are present here so that we're able to have a wholesome conversation once we leave. Yes? And allow me to welcome the panel moderator. Her name is Madam Nelias Mukami. I'll read her bio as she makes her way. Nelias is a wellness advocate creating safe spaces for healing, storytelling, and empowerment through initiatives like the Mukami's Healing Circle, the Kenna Foundation, and her upcoming affirmation and gratitude journals. She champions rest, recovery, and intentional living. Passionate about postpartum care and accessible wellness, she fosters supportive environments for women to heal and thrive. With authenticity, empathy, and a deep love for community, Nelias inspires others to embrace healing and a pathway to stronger families and collective wellness and well being. Ladies and gentlemen, Nelias. Do you want? No problem. You'll work up your panel, or do you want me to do it? Oh, thank you. No problem. Okay, no problem. I'll also welcome her panel. And she's going to be here with Alice Onsarigo, Caroline Mwende, Rosalind Karaoke. And allow me to read their bios as they come up. And of course, Dr. Edna as well. So I'll start with Rosalind. Rosalind Karaoke holds a master's degree in psychology and education. She also holds a degree in education and counseling, also a diploma in education and counseling. She has also handled different clients in the field of counseling and has given psychosocial therapy extensively. She has also gone through many consultative and capacity building seminars in different parts of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, Rosalind, where the name has gone. Rosalind Karaoke. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Karibu sana. Next on stage is Alice Onsarigo. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a seasoned international health and program management professional with over 24 years experience driving transformative change across health, nutrition, education, child protection, and neglected tropical diseases in East Africa and Central Africa. She's a champion of equitable community led systems. She specializes in designed and implementing content driven and context driven interventions that empower underdeveloped and underdeserved populations, particularly adolescents, through innovative and scalable solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, Alice Onserigo. A round of applause as she makes her way. Dr. Edna Dhango. Dr. Edna, I am sure I had your bio. I do? Okay. It's going to be loading. And then, of course, Carol Mwende. Carol Mwende is a seasoned woman speaker with more than a decade of experience empowering and inspiring women. Her dynamic and engaging speaking style has made her a sought after figure at numerous private women's meetings and in the recent past at conferences and work summits. Ladies and gentlemen, her areas of expertise include women empowerment, interior styling, image consultancy, youth mentorship, certified youth mentor and coach, and certified childhood trauma coach. Let us put our hands together for Carol Mwende. And let me get just a quick update. For Dr. Edna. Dr. Edna Dhango is a leading scholar and advocate for inclusive education through sports with a PhD in disability sports studies and a master's in adapted physical activity. She specializes in the disability sports, inclusive physical activity, and sports for development. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Edna.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. So as you've heard, my name is Nelias Mukami. I am a mother, and this is actually a very passionate topic for me because I'm also a mental health champion. And how I got into the space is because I realized that we take care of the sicknesses that we see, we take care of the things that are visible, but we forget mental health. And I think I was diagnosed with ADHD in adulthood, I think around 2019. And that's when I began to understand the whole childhood I had, what was happening in my life then, all the situations that I found myself in. And the teachers would be like, okay, maybe you're not concentrating, maybe you're just a truant. But really, it was just a way of, how the ADHD manifested in me. And as I'm raising a son with dyslexia, it's now important for me to actually get involved in the conversation on mental health and how it affects the kids, and also how it affects the parents, because sometimes it's mental anguish to have to deal with being told that your child is different in this way. And I was actually telling someone that my husband and I, Isaac Maura, is that we were always good students in class. So having a son who's not as good based on what we have decided is what will reach the children. It's a bit torturous sometimes, and you don't know what to do. So I'm glad that we are getting into the conversation, and I'll just begin by asking about what do you think that affects the mental health of people with the neurodivergent individuals? Like, what exactly? How is it mental health and this related? So I think we can start with the mic, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Madam, for that question. I would like to say that when we talk about mental health, it starts from very far. And I will give one or two examples before I comment. I remember a child who had a mental health, a mental challenge. And after a lot of research, intensive research, it was discovered that that child, when the mother got the child, she was in secondary school and she was contemplating aborting the child. And accidentally, the aunt to this child, informed the boy, was a boy, that, do you know you should not be living? Your aunt was contemplating doing away with you, and the boy had a challenge, but through something that we call psychoanalytical approach. Psychoanalytical approach is when you go far much back to when a child is very young, and then you start looking at any challenge, even if the child was maybe 2 years, 3 years. Then you speak to the child, and the child opens up and speaks about those challenges. And as he is speaking about it, then you realize the mental health does not just come when you are at the teenage stage. It comes from far much behind. At the same time, even for the parent, sometimes you might find the parent has a challenge. But when you look at the background of that parent, then you discover very many years ago, when she was a child, maybe he was rejected by the parents because of any other challenge. That aggravates the situation, the mind. And sometimes that parent may talk about it, but has never come to terms with it. Coming to terms with it is when you allow yourself as a person to think about it quietly, meditating about it, also trying to make sure you feel the pain. You allow yourself to feel the pain that was supposed to be expected. And you're just alone. If you have to cry, you cry out. And as you cry out, you are now dealing with that mental challenge. Coming back to our the students or the pupils with some problems in this area we are dealing with, then you discover sometimes a child might hear a teacher saying that you are a dad ahead. Because of late, I'm a teacher also. Teachers are a bit careless, and they might call a child a dad ahead. And then I remember another child that was called a dad ahead, had failed in mathematics. She was beaten thoroughly. And after he was beaten, sorry. After he was beaten, he went home. And without the grandparent knowing this, he had lost the mother. He took a bit of pesticide. And this child was going to go down or to die because of that particular mental challenge he is subjected to. At least we were able to follow up. I think the hospital that took up the boy very quickly handled the boy. Today, the boy is very stable. The mentor is no more. He spoke about the frustrations. So, in a nutshell, I'm saying this is the mental health does not begin at an early stage. Begins at at an older stage. Begins at a very early stage. You may not realize even as an individual, but you just need to do what we are calling psychoanalytical approach. You also assess yourself, and then you're able to move on.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to give a small experience that I had with a dyslexic girl that I know and love. She's my daughter's friend, and she was in one of our public schools. Actually, no, it's a private school in Kenya. And because of her dyslexia, she was not able to read. But you know how our teachers are, both in private and public schools. When it comes to comprehension, we all have to stand up and read, right? And many teachers do not understand dyslexia. And so when a child says they cannot read, or when they start reading and they are not able to pronounce certain words, she becomes a laughing stock in the classroom. And then she retreats and stops putting up her hand because she knows that she's not going to be able to read the words properly, and therefore stops even contributing in the class. That's what happened to my friend's daughter. She went through a very hard time, especially when she was starting her high school. And this really affected her. This is a girl that I see almost every day. And you could tell that she has started, when we are in a gathering, she will sit at the corner, she will not talk. And these are some of the things that affect mental health of children who are dyslexic. I know we've talked about it yesterday and even today, but I think it's really important for our teachers to know how to navigate these issues and how to deal with children with dyslexia. Unfortunately, by the time she was in high school, she hadn't been diagnosed. But because of the bullying and the name calling that she went through in that school, the mom decided to find a solution. And she got the child assessed and went to KCCL. And immediately she started going to school in KCCL, she started thriving. This is a girl who is now finished high school. She's currently doing an apprenticeship and continues to learn and follow her career path. But this is a girl who did not have hope when she was in the school where she was before because of what was happening. And this really affected her mentally. Up to now, sometimes you can see that she retreats back into her cocoon
But because of the empowerment she got, when she got the right placement, she got the right people to help her, Esther Wamai. I know you know whom I'm talking about. She was able to thrive. She was able to join sports, go all the way to Germany and get medals for, sports. But it's because of the right environment, the right motivation, the right encouragement, the right place at the right time. And when our children are not given these opportunities, then this can affect them mentally to the point of committing suicide, or at least suicide ideation, if not at least going along with it. It is really important. Mental health is important. It is also important to the caregivers. We cannot forget the caregivers. They go through a lot, trying to deal with their children, taking care of their children, supporting them with a lack of resources, a lack of knowledge of what they are going through. And so when we are talking about these issues, we should never forget the caregivers. And most of the time, the caregivers are forgotten. And it really affects the parents. We were here this morning when we saw how emotional our parents were. And it is because they do not have, or they did not have the resources. Some of them have the resources now, but how many other parents out there in the communities do not have the resources to be able to manage their situation, manage their children? Their families ostracize them. Their friends, they are told their children are abnormal and all sorts of things. How can a person survive that? It is something that we need to be very aware of for both the children and the parents, or the caregivers in general. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, okay, we are alive. Again, my name is Carol Mwende. I am so honored and privileged, Madam Esther, to have me here. My reason for being in the mental health space, about 15 years ago, as you've heard, I'm an image consultant and an interior stylist. And allow me to give an experience that I had. I was called for this consultation. So it was in the leafy suburbs. So I go into this walk-in closet, and as I'm inside there, women, we know there's a island in the walk-in closet that you sit down to wear your shoes. Men, it's okay, you don't have to answer. Women, you know that place, that one you sit down. So she came and she sat down there, and I could hear someone crying as I was inside the wardrobe. Oh, it's called walk-in closet, not wardrobe. Sorry. So I'm thinking, why? Why are you in leafy suburbs? Where are you getting tears from? How? Also, please tell your neighbor, this is Carol Mwende 15 years ago. Oh, yeah, like practically tell your neighbor, this is Carol Mwende 15 years ago. So please don't judge her. Or if you want to judge in your free time when you go home. So I was very judgmental. I couldn't understand, how do you have all these cars parked in your parking lot, all these rooms, 27,000 bedrooms? Like, where are you even getting tears from? Where? Zinatoka wapi? So I made my presence known. I was like, so I go in and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So she's wiping her tears. Me, I'm thinking, you're wiping tears coming from where? I'm seeing your eyes. Stop judging me, okay? I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm not ready to deal with this. I'm looking for money. Again, please don't judge me, please. I told her, it's okay. You finish, I'll come back. I left. Yeah, I left. I came back about 2 days after. I did my work. She called me later in that evening, and she told me, thank you so much, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, so she's like, can we have lunch? You don't have your circle of people you can have lunch with. Why are you calling? Why are you telling me we have lunch? So I tried to think, okay, I have another consultation around that area. So yes, we can have lunch. So when we met, so when we met, it was about 11:30, and she was smelling of alcohol. Again, judgmental, Karo Mwende. I'm like, why the hell are you smelling of alcohol at 11? It's not even midday. As in, at least even wait until 1:30, 2:30. After midday. I sat down 10 minutes into the conversation. I was like, hapa hakuna agenda, because she's saying this, she's saying that, she's saying that. Me, I ate my lunch. Yeah. See, she called me for lunch. I ate lunch and I was like, okay, so I need to excuse myself. And she was like, she actually wanted to pay for the next consultation that I was going for, just to keep me there. I was like, Madam, we are not friends like this. Yes, I need to go. I left. Again, please be my advocate. Tell your neighbor, don't judge Mwende. I just want you not to judge me. I just don't want to feel judged. I left. The person that had referred me to her called me about a week after. She's like, oh my God, I was told of the amazing job you did. I'm like, yeah, I'm good at my job. Please recognize. So she paused a bit and she was like, I just wanted to inform you, she passed on. I'm like, no, I think you're talking about someone else. The one I was last week, about a week ago, there's no way. Like, yeah, she passed on. She took her own life. And I had to go through therapy. This is about 3-4 years ago. I had to go through my own therapy because I didn't understand. But as I went through my own therapy, I realized one of the reasons why she actually took her own life was she was in the spectrum of dyslexia. So she was married into well-off. She was married to a well-off family, but her husband kept calling her dumb. You know this thing that we just throw around. How dumb can you be? Why are you doing that? You're so dumb. That is one of the things that, I mean, there were other things, but that one actually pushed her to the edge. And the reason why she kept asking me, can we meet for lunch? Can you stay over? Is because she really didn't have anyone. I don't know what she saw in me, but she wanted to talk to me. But was Mwende around? Was Mwende available? Was Mwende looking for money? Yes. So my passion is about the caregivers. I know the dyslexic children, I mean, they get the care that they need, but the caregivers. I've had someone coming for session, a parent, a mother coming for session, and she just slept on the couch. The first 1 hour, she just slept on the couch. She was just like, Mwende, I'm tired. I'm tired. I've done everything. I just want to sleep. And I allowed her to sleep. So my passion is about caregivers. And I'm actually amazed. I'm so happy. I told her I'm going to come, even with my third leg. I'm going to come because I'm also learning a lot. I'm learning along the way. So my why is the caregivers, giving mental psycho support to the caregivers of dyslexic children.
Hello again. My name is Edna, as you've heard. KU. I teach sports from being a PE teacher now in university for some couple of years. Mental health. I'm a parent of a child who is neurodiverse. She has autism, cerebral palsy. So mental health is real amongst caregivers and children. So to the child, when we talk about mental health, it's all about what Mr. Chengo talked about. So for me, I will look at it from how he described disability, whereby we can have personal related factors, whereby the child probably there's lack of communication, the teachers are not understanding or helping, accommodation is lacking. So just because of that, the child tends to have issues with their mental wellness. Then again, maybe I'm looking also at the contextual factors in terms of environmental. Maybe there are blocks that you are not seeing that the child is seeing. So as a result, what happens? Mental health is not physical. We can't see, you look fine. Okay? But the child themselves are suffering. So that's personal. Now, when it happens that way, they start having self esteem issues, lack of self efficacy. They feel they can't do things because they're going to be laughed at, just what we've been told. As in, all presenters are talking to this. So, all those barriers is what leads to the mental wellness. So, for the children at home, our nannies could be the sources, we could be the sources, school could be the sources. So, all those other factors bring in this issue of mental wellness. How about the parents? I'm one. What would make me have mental wellness issues? I have to work. Maybe my nanny needs to go home to see her kids. Actually, that's happening tomorrow. So already my mental wellness is having issues. You know, I'm supposed to get in a temporal, someone, a nanny to come in. I actually got one. I planned myself. But imagine I had to release her yesterday because she was not honest. Just issues. I discovered she's not well. And now me having my child who doesn't speak nonverbal, someone who was not honest with me, can't dare leave her with her. So already from tomorrow, I have mental issues. Okay, no. It's a reality because I have to look at what do I need to sort myself between today and tomorrow. Already, that's causing anxiety on me. You know, now those are the issues that just bring in mental wellness issues coming in, and then later it becomes to mental health. Because yeah, the health mental health issues, maybe those ones need a doctor, a clinical clinician to take care of that, because maybe they might need to prescribe medication. But it's so important for us to understand mental wellness. And we have to be so intentional, as she said. I know she's a champion. I've seen her at work. So yes, keep it up. And we have to keep on talking about that. So from a parent, as a caregiver, a parent, and also to my child, I need to see what is making her have outbursts all of a sudden. She was fine. So what is the issue? Or maybe when we just go visit a relative and there are so many people like now, oh my God, this is too much for her, you know? So she'll start having issues and that causes anxiety and it will bring to mental wellness issues. So again, intention, we have to be so careful on what could cause issues to us and our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm looking at our time. So I think the next question, I'll do it in twofold. And we can try maybe to be a bit more brief. Is what are what are some of the practical interventions that we've put in place for both the person and the parents and the support team? And then I'd like also for you to touch on how do we support the neurodiverse individuals in relationships, like when they get to that point of having probably a boyfriend or a girlfriend and all that, how do we support them? So I guess that's two questions in one.
Okay, thank you. We are looking for something practical that we can do. We need to make sure that we inculcate something that we call assertiveness. That even if our children have this challenge, we try to inculcate that assertiveness by telling them you can. I've been very impressed by so many people here. They mentioned names of people who are great in the society, so that as they go to the society, they don't feel we are the weakest. So that assertiveness would help. We inculcate it again when we, as the parent or the caregiver, when we talk to our children, let's also give positive words. Not only positive words. It is important to note words contribute only 35% of that communication, but non-verbal cues contribute 65%. So when we might be encouraging our students, our children, verbally, but maybe on the face, we are making a face of frustration. They will take the 35% and then realize, yeah, they're already frustrated. So even as we encourage them positively, let our nonverbal cues also communicate the 65%. At the same time, it is very important for us to monitor, have a discussion with them clearly. After being in school, let them share with you their experiences. And if you find a challenge in the communication back in school, it's also good to correct it positively, not by criticizing the instructor, the teacher by then, but by making the student understand that this is not what you are. Again, the other question we have, these children are becoming teenagers. Let them also know that whatever happens to the other teenagers, they can also go through the same. We advise them. It is true. You meet the people from the other sex, either the female, the male sex. So it's important for us to tell them there's nothing wrong by making a positive relationship, and also by monitoring that relationship. Again, to mention on the caregiver, allow me to mention something very sensitive. Occasionally, you realize ladies sometimes are resilient. I mean, they're able to withstand the storms to a certain degree. I'm not saying that men are the weaker sex, please don't take me wrongly. But you see, there is that resilience. We are created that way. A man will suffer a lot of frustration, he may not show it up. And therefore, he might react in a rather negative way. And then as a wife, you might think, this husband of mine is very careless about my child. I am alone in my own field. That is not the case. They also have that feeling. They're also empathetic. But we also need to understand the situation is quite critical so that we don't mess from dealing with the child, and then we also mess with the relationship between us and the husband. Let's understand the whole scenario requires a lot of caution as we deal with it.
I'm going to speak from the perspective of access to information that can enable us to deal with mental health issues. We know that dyslexic children may not be able to read, and so supporting them with other ways of getting the information they need to make informed decisions and informed choices about their lives is important. I'll give a practical example that we have at Zana Africa. My colleague Beatrice alluded to it when she was up on stage. We have a hotline. Most of us, when we hear about a hotline, we think about a number that you call to report something, or most of the hotlines are either to report GBV, to report child abuse, child neglect, 116, and such things. But the hotline that we have at Zana Africa supports mental health, supports sexual reproductive health, and supports all the other issues that any adolescent or even adult goes through. We have trained counselors on the other side of the line who can support anybody who calls that hotline with information. So access to information is important, and seeing that dyslexic children are not able to read or reading is not their forte, they can call that number and they can receive the information they need on whatever topic, including relationships. They will be guided through whatever issue they have. If they need to report something, they will be referred to the right places that have been vetted, that they can receive
proper information, including law enforcement, legal aid, counseling, reporting GBV, anything that you can think adolescents can go through. And so access to information is important because it builds agency. It enables us to make decisions about our lives that we may not be able to make if we do not have the information that can direct us to make that decision. Regarding building relationships, we know that many neurodiverse children go through isolation. And most of the time, it's because they are not able to communicate properly, depending on the issue that they're having. They are not able to make friends and such like things. It is important that these children are provided the right information to enable them to build their character, to build, Njoroge called it their industry yesterday when he was talking. But these children need to be enabled. They need to be given the resources. They need to be given the skills to be able to manage themselves around other people so that they are not always hiding, they're not always in the house scrolling through their phones, which we know can also be dangerous because they can find the wrong information on their phones. It is important that these children are empowered to have the right information that enables them to build their character, to build their relationship, to know that they can sit in front here and talk about their issue, to be open about the issue that they have, to not be ashamed about talking about it. Us as adults, we are the holders of that information, and it is important to give that information to our children. Families can be very infuriating sometimes because sometimes families are the ones who tell you to hide your children because your children are not normal. And so I think it is important to remove yourselves from situations where you know your child is getting such information. It's never that serious. That sister or that brother or uncle or whoever it is that is looking down upon your children, they can be put at arm's length and dealt with from that side, to protect your children and to protect you as a caregiver. It is really important. We cannot continue normalizing something that is not good for us as parents, caregivers, or even good for our children. So if you need to drop somebody like a hot potato, I think it's important to do that so that you can protect your children.
These children, that the dyslexic children, who are they apart from this title? Okay, they are someone. They are God's child. You're just a custodian that God gave this amazing opportunity to raise this child. So pour into your child. If you have a child in that spectrum, pour into that child. Pour into them who they are. Apart from the title, apart from you're my son, who are you also in God? Because for me, I entered into this mental health space, wanting to know what God's mind is on the matter of mental health. Because there's some places, us as counselors, us as mental health specialists, there's only so much we can give you. But there's a place where you're tired, you're at home, you're calling Carol Mwende, you're not able to get her, you're calling your counselor, you're not able to get her. But there's one who can heal that place where nobody else can get to. So pour into your child what God calls that child, apart from the titles, dyslexia, blah, 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 blah. You as a caregiver, as soon as you get the diagnosis that this is what your child has, get into position. Ask God, okay, so how do you want me to take care of this child? Yes, there are all these accesses, there are all these channels of taking care of them, of taking care of this child. But you, God, who made this child, who you created this child, how do you want me to take care of this child? And also remember, as the one, as you're on a plane, if the oxygen levels drop, when the oxygen masks come down, right, and you're carrying a baby, who do they tell to put on their mask first? Yourself first. So you as a parent, you as a caregiver, pour into yourself. Make sure as soon as there's the diagnosis, go right into work. Ingia kazi. Okay? And don't forget, you're not alone. If you're a single parent, you're not alone. If you have a partner, that's fine. At least you have help. But even with that, no, you have God on your side. And God is the one who created that child. And he's the best person, As we're only limited. But there's only one person, there's only God can get to that place where when you get tired, when you're not able to get a session, you just sleep on your couch. You're like, Lord, I'm tired. What do I do? In the nini of the one for relationships, I had a client who came and told me, and she was just holding her head. She's like, whoa, this, my daughter says she has a boyfriend. She was panicking. She was like, my God, she's 12. What? Where are you getting boyfriends? Like, why are you even looking at boys at 12? I told her, call that boy at home, because if you tell her don't do this, again, we know teenagers, if you tell them don't do this, it's like do, them they see do, you get, it's like some sort of, yeah, you tell them don't, they see do. So I told her, tell the boy to come home. And because she had really poured into this girl, like she had really brought out her skills, her talents. And the mother kept asking the boy, so what are your talents? The boy is like, I don't have any. Do you have any hobbies? Like, so afterwards they had a conversation. The mom was like, he doesn't even have hobbies. Like, yeah, it's true. He doesn't. He's not even cool. The mom was like, yes, Lord, yes. So I think also parents, how they deal with such, not walking with a child, not saying do and don't, but just walking with a child and remembering God. You're just a custodian.
Okay. Allow me to just take care of this with what I know. That's physical activity. So, physical activity is a tool that can take care of mental health and wellness to the child first or to the person who is dyslexic. And it applies to everyone, any child in neurodiverse space. Just the fact that they can excel in the field, that translates to the classroom. That's a whole session. Maybe I will not go into details, but the fact that probably because I need to look at the ball coming to me, that's concentration already. The fact that I need to kick a ball to Madam Esther and work together with her, that's teamwork. And there's so much that resilience can come out of that. There's just so much. And it all translates to academics or into the classroom. Now, if I am the best in the team of soccer or rugby, or I'm the best swimmer, excuse me, everyone else will respect me. There won't be any bullying. So I want to advocate for sports and physical activity, and not just in the competitive. It can even be just jumping on that trampoline you've seen somewhere there. It can help a lot. Again, physical activity works on the brain. There's a slide he showed, then it passed so fast. I was like, please let it stay so that guys can see. Exercise is medicine to your brain. It makes so many things work. We are stressed, just go for a walk after your dinner or in the morning. Just jog. Okay? In my house, we have a small trampoline because I don't have space for a big one. It's actually there in the sitting room. So when visitors come, we push it to another room. And that's where everyone goes to jump, including my husband. Everyone, literally. We all just jump there for 7 minutes in the morning, as little as 7 minutes. And it helps because it helps to just strengthen the whole body. It just, exercise is medicine. I can go into details on that. So to the parent and to the learner, to the child or anyone who has an issue, I want to just advocate for that. And I know time is running. Let me just stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We got additional time, but it's over. And I'm thankful for the panelists for their wisdom and just sharing their insights. And I think for me, as we close it off, I've always said that where I am is where I belong, because not everyone can handle being in a parent to a neurodiverse child. And over time, I have learned that I have to be my son's biggest champion, because not everyone will understand and everyone will want to generalize. I think we had that conversation during the swimming meeting, and they were saying we will pick after one week, 1 month, we will pick the best, and those will join the swimming team. And I told them no. Let everyone who wants to join the swimming team join, and they will figure out, because some people need 1 month, others need 3. But as a mental health advocate, I always say you cannot pour from an empty cup. So ignorance is not bliss. We have to keep exposing ourselves to this conversation. We have to keep gaining knowledge for ourselves. And that way we understand what we are going through and what our kids probably are going through, because we never really understand. And I think I also encourage that support, external support, having people in similar situations, because again, sometimes it's laughable what we go through, but it's only laughable with someone else going through it. You understand? So thank you so much. And as we close off, I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunity, Madam Susan, and I'm grateful.
So I have an extra 5 minutes. I don't know if you're able to. Are you okay taking questions? You are? So I have 5 minutes. With your permission? Ah, fantastic. I have literally 5 minutes. So if there's anyone who has a question, about 5 minutes, and we can shoot up. Oh, fantastic. Let me come to you.
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth, and I am from the lovely country called Rwanda. I am a Kenyan, though. I just live there. I am a Kenyan who's also Rwandan. I live there. I've got 3 questions. Where do we begin? It's an African conference. What are you planning for your neighbors, for Tanzania, for Rwanda? That's question number 1. Question 2, how do we make this scalable? My friend here from Boma and the other people, young people who had dyslexia, are from private schools. When we are designing in education, we design with the public education in mind. The parent who can only afford public school education, where do they get dyslexia support? I went a little further because that's why I came. I'm hoping to get something like KISE in Rwanda. And I went and asked for the requirements, even to be an assessor. And I was told I need a diploma in, where's the paper? I have it. A diploma in special needs education. That takes 2 years, and the functional assessment takes 3 years. First of all, Kise, why does the diploma take 2 years, and why do I need to be here? Like, why do I need to physically quit work, come here for 2 years to get the diploma before I can do the functional assessment that people have gone out there? Parents in Rwanda have 2 pain points: misdiagnosis, and schools are expensive. So fast. What plans does Kise and everyone here have for your neighbors away from here? Question 3 for Kise. Why did you think that special needs education is only for school-based people? I am in a university. I am from the African Leadership University. We don't close schools, and we need this in Rwanda. We need it in other places. What are your plans for people in university who want to be in this space? Thank you.
I think that's a question for Susan, I think. Let's start.
Sorry. Okay. Do you want to answer it? Sorry? Okay. And then also, if we can, because the panel is there, if we're able to also focus on the questions regarding the panel, then we will do, because I know that we shall address as well, but let's focus it on the panel.
Okay. Sorry for just a minute because I'll be giving Anna just a minute. My name is Terry Mwangi, the academic registrar in KISM. Yeah, that is why I'm answering. I would say I think you're misinformed because actually we have what we call Odell program. We have just finished yesterday. Even today, I'm from okay, it's all over the country. We have Odell. Odell is an online program where even those in the university can join our diploma. It's only the full time sorry, that we require the teachers from the TSC. But the online people are registering and you can work when you do the program. Thank you.
Any other question regarding the panel conversation? Thank you.
I'm asking, my name is Elizabeth. I'm a mother of two children who have with learning difficulties. And as a caregiver, I'm asking, I've had a lot of training teachers and the rest, but I've not had anything about training caregivers. We would also like to be trained, so whatever the teacher do with the child in class, we can as well do it at home. We can teach together along with the teachers.
Oh, Kisa has not as well.
Yeah. Sorry, again, it's not my time, but theirs. But we have that certificate program for the caregivers. And the functional assessment, it's only 1 year. You need to be in KISA for only 3 weeks on April, August, and December. It is not 2 years, it's only 1 year. And we have that certificate course for the caregivers. Again, it is online, Odell. Sorry again.
My name is Winnie, and I'm from Mombasa. I have a daughter who's dyslexic, and this question I think I would like Edna to answer because I think she would relate more. I have gone for counseling. I've done some advocacy in Mombasa. I even have a Instagram page. And then I think 2 years ago, I just got tired. I was just like, this is not working. I need to focus on my child. My child is stressed. We got our results from last term. She has E. She starts crying. I start crying. I don't know what is there. Does it get better? I don't know.
Okay, I just want to say focus on like what your child can do. Strength based. Because sometimes I feel like we can okay, there's this idea of everyone is doing this so that we can all look like we are doing well. But what can your child do? So there's that aspect of just literally observe your child. What are they good at? Is it cooking? Concentrate on making it better. Because if you concentrate on a child not able to read and you force them to do their class, they are laughed at in class, it frustrates you also as a parent. So strength-based approach is what we need to do in literally everything. They like playing. What sport do they like playing? Not everyone likes swimming. Not everyone likes football. Some want individual sports, others want team sports. So focus on what the child is strong at so that we can shine with just that one line. We don't have to shine everywhere, right? Parents' space.
Hi. Hi. It's Celine. My question is for parents, because okay, as a dyslexic person, this doesn't relate to me, but it's just a general question for a parent who has like trauma from their parents and it becomes generational trauma, and they're dealing with a kid who has a neurodivergent child. How can they not push that trauma, but how can they deal with that trauma? Like the whole conversation of beating your child because that's what you were taught. How can they deal with that trauma to help that child be, yeah.
I think in Africa, we need to normalize counseling. It should not be a shameful thing. It should not be stigmatized, and that is what happens in Kenya, at least. Nobody talks about counseling. And we know that the burden of taking care of children is on parents, especially mothers. Not that fathers don't do anything, but most mothers take the burden of taking care of their children while they're doing everything else for the people in the family. That can be exhausting for anyone, even for the parents who do not have children with neurodivergent children. It can be exhausting. And so, as Africans, as Kenyans, we need to normalize counseling. We also need to normalize asking for help. That is something that we also don't do because of the shame and stigma associated to having a neurodivergent child. We hide our children. Why do we hide our children? And yet, they can thrive if they have the right environment. So we need to normalize asking for help. We need to normalize counseling. That will enable us to deal with our trauma.
Yeah.
We also, as institutions, Kenya Institute of Special Education, KISE, all those MOE that develop curriculum content, especially for teachers, we need to figure out how to include trauma-informed strategies of teaching. A teacher who has undergone GBV, for instance, is not going to be able to go through a GBV session in the classroom. So having a curriculum that takes care of the teacher from a trauma-informed perspective is very important. Those are things that are not dealt with in this country. We are working with KICD to figure out how to support teachers to integrate pertinent contemporary issues, some of which deal with mental health. These are subjects that are not examinable, but are within the competency-based curriculum, for instance, and teachers are supposed to teach them in the classroom. But because they have trauma from things that have happened in their lives, some of them have been raped. I'm just talking from a general perspective. Some of them are going through a marriage and the husband is dealing with alcoholism. And they're supposed to talk about these things in their classroom. How are they going to talk about this? And the husband is the one who sings in the evening, all the way from the shops to their house, and is seen on the street. So trauma-informed teaching in our teacher education colleges is important, so that the teachers who are delivering this content to the children are able to deal with their own traumas before they can deal with the traumas of the children.
Okay, thank you very much. One last question and then it's a wrap. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Mine is not really a question. Mine is just to encourage the parent over there. I think what you're going through is basically what most of us went through. And once we realized the issue, basically, I don't want to use a bad word, but we said, you know what? What is the worst that can happen? Why should I stress my child? Why should I see that homework that you're stressing? If you find that whatever you're trying to make your child do is giving, you'll know your child is going through, is stressed with what you're trying to help. And if it's stressing you, stop it. Concentrate on something else, because when you focus on that one, you are also now There is courage, which is going down for your child. Confidence is going down because there's something not going on that he or she does not understand. And then here, mom is stressed. Mom also does not understand. So basically, concentrate on what, like sports, basically. My son took up sports. My son was a clumsy person. He could not hold something very fast. But now he's a self-made goalkeeper and a very good one.
Thank you so much. I think that's all the time we've had. And just a final point, as a mom to also a dyslexic child, I want to tell you that there's more life beyond the classroom. So I figured that out, and I just ensure that if Njiro tells me he wants to go for taekwondo, for swimming, for whatever, just expose them to as many things as possible outside the classroom. And apparently, people are making money on gaming. I've realized my son is very good at online games. It's a thing, it's not in the classroom. So that's the problem, I think, of 844 is that we were taught everything has to come from the classroom. If you don't get an A, then you won't be a good person in life. And there's more to it. So just to encourage you, just expose the child to as many things as possible. Eventually, you will find his strengths. So thank you so much. I think we're done. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Nelias. Please allow me also to weigh in, and especially to our dear parent from Mombasa. I think your fellow parents have given you advice on what you can do, but I think it's only fair enough that even us as professionals also put in a word on that. And I want to agree with what parents and the caregivers are saying. So, because sometimes you realize that with children with special needs or special educational needs, not everybody, or rather not all of them, even with the best interventions, may pursue the academic pathway because probably the brain is not wired that way. And that's why I am happy with the CBC because I think the spirit and letter of CBC is good. Looking at the competence-based strengths that our children have. I want to speak from what I have practiced for the last 20 years working with neurodiverse kids. And from the schools that I have headed, I want to say that maybe those children have been privileged because it's the international curriculum. And therefore, I resonate with the speaker who has asked, what are we doing for the public? School, the kids in the public system. But I think CBC eventually, if it takes root, there's a solution for these kids because of the different pathways. And I applaud it and I pray, Muheshimiwa, that it gets the support it requires because that will be a lifeline for those kids who are not academically oriented. But just to reiterate what we've been told about talents, I have supported children in the talent pathway. KCCL parents, can you attest to that? You've had some have gone. So we put some in sports, Special Olympics, going to compete internationally in different sports. Veshmio has had the privilege to meet one a few minutes ago who was here for assessment. He is a golfer. He's been playing internationally. He's now taken golf as a career. I have Lele here, my student, a boy who came to me very frustrated. He's now professional goalkeeper. We have a company that was supposed to be here, Skia, that is scouting talent. And I believe he's going to be the next Rooney because Rooney is neurodivergent and the best football player that we have. We have Lillian. You've seen the son. He's been playing the national anthem with the trumpet. He's playing now 4 instruments. Eventually, he's going to pursue music as a career. We have Lucy there. The son just graduated from Moringa School, software engineer, doing coding. So parents, there's hope. So just look for the support in the right places. And nobody said you all need to be teachers, lawyers, doctors. The world needs all careers. And those careers are actually coming from the neurodiverse population. I don't know whether we'll have time for the inclusive panel because I think that will also help
these parents who are already looking at 20 years from now where their kids will be, and you have success stories. Lucy will be in that panel. She works for Safaricom and she's neurodiverse. So parents, there's hope. I know she is almost having me for lunch, so thank you.
Now, speaking of lunch, kindly pray for us. Thank you very
Oh
much.
my goodness, what did I sign up for? Okay, let's pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we come before you with thanksgiving in our hearts for the far that you've brought us. Thank you, Lord, for the conversations that we have had up to now. They've been enriching, they've been encouraging, they've been inspiring. We pray that you shall continue giving us insights into delving into this conversation and getting solutions of how best we are going to support the neurodiverse children of this country and of this region. As we break into lunch, we thank you for lunch. We receive it to Thanksgiving, and to those that don't have, may you give them. In Jesus' name we pray, trust, and believe. Amen.
Thank you very much. You may break for lunch. You remember that conversation we had? That one, I was seated here. Thank you very much. 3:45, yeah? Thank you. I appreciate it. You may leave. I believe either you'll get meal cards or you'll have someone sort you out as you walk out. Please enjoy your lunch. Let's meet at